Be here.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are we feeling? What's going on in the universe?
We are.
Your universe, our universe. It's all connected, right?
Right.
Okay,
You want this on you?
yeah, it's recording.
No, it's not recording you, it's recording that.
I know, it's
Oh,
all
okay.
right. My presentation is on what is meditation. And I've brought this presentation before, I think the last time. I don't know if I did it here. I presented also in the Men of Valor setting we had. There was a lot of eye raisers, and people contact me later on, they want to know more and got some ideas. And in my last few Sukkot presentations, I'm bringing it because I've had some very interesting experiences, with meditation. And I myself, prior to knowing about meditation, my Ima Zira, she had been dealing with it for years, and she'd been trying to get me and Kokava to get into it, and it was like, you're right, But, in around 2011, I had a spiritual awakening, and I found myself doing things differently, seeing things differently, and meditation was one of them. And ever since then, I'm hooked. I am hooked. And to go into it, I presented a little small PowerPoint presentation. I will show you. Oh, not this one. Bear with me a minute. What is meditation? Okay, here we have our sister from Ghana, called Bikia. She was here. She does with yoga and all kinds of stuff. Pretty sure you might have met her, Elsa. Yeah.
Makasha.
Come on in, just tap. Okay. She says here, life is so ironic. It takes sadness to know what happiness is, noise to appreciate silence, and absence to value presence. And here I put a description, be still and know that I am Yah. Psalms 46:10. And even with this scripture alone, it describes everything that I've experienced about meditation and the act of being still. A lot of people might look at being still something boring. And once you start focusing on it, things begin to start popping and cooking. Okay, sleep is unconscious meditation. Meditation is conscious sleep. In sleep, we get limited energy. In meditation, we get abundant energy. This energy enhances the power of our mind, body, and intellect. It opens the door for our sixth sense and beyond. It also helps to reach greater heights in the physical realm. Okay, here you have yours truly in the great city of Mispay, right there at the crater. No words. It's just something you have to experience.
You have to experience.
Yeah. Meditation is a form of hygiene, and it's mandatory for one who is going to generate their tissues. There are different types of meditations for different reasons. But at least practice of sitting quietly for 15 to 20 minutes twice a day, morning and evening, is vital for regeneration of the nerves and reorganizations of the brain and the tissues. So the sitting still, even though we look at it logistically as sitting still, but the body knows what it's doing. Okay, I put it like a computer, and I put this analysis. A computer system has a maintenance program known as defragmentation. Defragmentation of the hard drive is the same defragmentation of an individual. All the files and bits of information are gathered, organized, and put back together in its proper place, just as the cells in the body. Meditation is the same principle. It allows the body to reorganize the cells and the molecules of the body, like cleaning the house, so to speak. Because when you go through your day-to-day things, your brain is processing trillions of bits of information every day. And the meditation allows those things to kind of come back together, not just in your sleep. It processes information every day, same as the hard drive. If you don't defrag regularly, your hard drive will slow down and eventually crash. We know about that. Mm-hmm. The body is the same way. It needs to sit quietly without thought and watch and observe how the body takes over automatically, defragging itself as it has a divine intelligence that's already built in. Listen to your body. It's smarter than you. So take the time throughout the day with your children and y'all busy lives, especially sisters. Take the time. Okay. This is two of my sister Adira. That's her children. She's having them. They do meditation every day. She has them doing meditation. Matter of fact, I believe they're indigos. The way she talks about them.
Oh, I did from Atlanta.
From Atlanta, Phenom, the poet.
Phenom?
Yes.
Okay.
She got
Two boys.
two boys. Group meditation. In 1993, a study of the effects of mass meditation on the reduction of violent crime produced such amazing results. It drew attention of scientists from all over the world. 4,000 meditators of all different backgrounds were brought to Washington, USA. And as soon as they started to meditate, the reduction of the crime was incredible. Since then, the study has been replicated hundreds of times with increasing, astonishing results. So not only is it a benefit for yourself, but if we do it together, who knows? The sky is the limit. This is a short video clip.
It was like, it's not many
Forgot to turn off my funky music.
Yeah, I said Duke wasn't playing that music.
Bass solo. Okay.
I thought you had a new kind of meditation.
meditation. Dr. John Hagman.
This is the first study, and I won't go into it in great detail except to say that this experiment was performed in the Middle East during the peak of the Lebanon War in the early 1980s. It was hypothesized, based on many previous smaller experiments, that if enough people were collectively experiencing and stimulating this fundamental, powerful field of peace within, that there would be a radiated influence of peace that would affect the behavior of people throughout society. People would wake up in the morning and they'd decide, hey, I don't think I'm going to kill anybody today. What a novel thought. That, with some expanded comprehension and less narrowly cramped, narrowly self-centered, acutely stressed vision, that those desperate acts of terrorism simply don't really have a fertile field to fall on. So, this chart shows a dotted line going up and down, which is the rise and fall on a daily basis of the number of people who are meditating as a group in Jerusalem. About 1,000 people on average, sometimes more, sometimes less. And the solid line represents progress towards peace in the war in neighboring Lebanon. And even before the benefit of statistical analysis, you can almost see from the raw data that progress towards peace, measured by reduced war deaths, reduced war injuries, reduced number of bombs, that progress towards peace goes up and down almost in lockstep with the number of people who are meditating as a group, radiating this influence of inner peace to become outer peace. When this was subject to mathematical analysis, the likelihood that this is simply due to some fluke, due to chance, is less than 1 part in 10,000. To be able to say something with this certainty, that group meditation prevented war, that is a really remarkable finding. When this was published in the Yale University Journal of Conflict Resolution, it ignited a firestorm. First of all, it took 2 years to publish the paper because the editors reviewed it and reviewed it and reviewed it, and they said in the end, this paper is unassailable. This paper... because the editors reviewed it and reviewed it and reviewed it, and they said in the end, this unexpected, that 1,000 people could influence the behavior of 1 million. That they urged other scientists to go out and repeat the study. And that's exactly what happened over the next 2¼ years. 7 other scientific collaborations went out and repeated the study, training and assembling groups of meditators, practicing transcendental meditation. And in every one of these experiments, during this 2¼ year period, there was a marked reduction in violence and war. 80% drop in war deaths and war-related injuries in comparison to all the other days during the 2¼ years where there were no meditating groups, when the situation grew slightly worse, as this chart shows, in comparison to 7 highly positive bars showing highly statistically significant progress towards peace in every single experiment. If you put these together, the likelihood that this reduction of war was again simply due to chance and not due to the meditating groups was less than 1 part in 10 million. There is far more evidence that group meditation can turn off war like a light switch than there is evidence that aspirin reduces headache pain, for example. It is a scientific fact.
So, no, that's it. That's the end of that. So, now he's just speaking about wars. Now we could talk about health, we could talk about a lot of other things, but at the same time, it's the same principle of the group meditation. Sometimes my idea is like when we have people that are, suffering in the hospital or sick, what would happen if we did those group meditation and focused on that, as well as yourself.
As a community.
Yeah, as a community. So Okay. Health benefits. The study of 100 individuals aged 24 through 77, of whom 50 were meditators, found that those who engaged in meditating showed reduced gray matter. I'm not sure if I want to get into this because I'm still trying to figure out gray matter. If anybody wants to continue.
Okay.
Loss of certain regions in the brain compared with non-meditators, meaning the more gray matter versus white matter in the brain's neuron electrical current, the more conductive and quicker the neuron signals travel in the system, as opposed to the white matter that is in the melanated tissue, resulted in more fine-tuned, higher vibrational system.
Interesting.
This kind of breaks this down more. They're going to tell you about telomeres.
That's an enzyme.
It's in the genes, I believe.
The ends of linear chromosomes are capped by telomeres, repeating sections of non-coding DNA that protect the important areas of chromosomes from degradation. Telomeres shorten by a few hundred base pairs after each replication of the chromosome because the machinery of DNA replication cannot copy the last bit of the lagging strand. Once the telomeres are gone, important genetic information will be lost when the chromosome shortens, halting further cell division and possibly triggering apoptosis. In special cells such as stem cells, germ cells, and cancer cells, an enzyme called telomerase is highly active. Telomerase adds a link back to the telomeres, slowing or stopping telomere shortening and contributing to these cells' special ability to divide indefinitely.
Now, I was showing this. There you go. It breaks down what telomeres does. And keep in mind, all this is still linked with meditation and the health benefits. Oops.
Inside a human cell is the nucleus. Inside the nucleus are 23 pairs of chromosomes. These are long threads of DNA carrying the genetic information. Right at the ends of the chromosomes are special stretches of DNA called telomeres. They are known to play a crucial role protecting the ends of DNA.
So we kind of think of this like the tip at the end of the shoelace, because if you don't have that tip, then the end of your shoelace frays away very quickly. You know, your shoelace won't work properly if it doesn't have a tip. And it's like the end of a chromosome, the end of a DNA. If it doesn't have an intact tip on it, the telomere, it too will fray away.
When a cell is replicating, it can't copy its DNA all the way to the end, and so telomeres shorten with each replication. If telomeres get critically short, the cell can malfunction and die.
If you don't have caps on the end of a chromosome, then the ends become very sticky. It's almost like the shoelace ends become tied together, and this messes up the genetic material. This can have disastrous consequences for cells. A little bit like if your ends of your shoelaces are tied together, you're going to trip up and fall.
Liz studied tiny single-celled creatures found in ponds, called tetrahymena. They have enormous numbers of small chromosomes. She carefully determined the structure and makeup of their telomeres. Then she noticed something odd.
Something puzzling was happening at the ends of the DNA, the very short chromosomes in tetrahymena, and that was that DNA was getting added on to the ends of these chromosomes, and this was not anything that anybody expected DNA to do.
Something was adding new DNA to the ends of the chromosomes. The telomeres were not wearing down, and so the cells could replicate endlessly. They were, in effect, immortal.
So keep in mind, you might think that this meditation has no connection with it, but the meditation, like I said, it helps to fragment the body more and the cells, everything that happens with it on a daily basis. Because what happens with the telomeres, that's through everyday activity that they start, and you have a shorter lifespan. So in dealing with the meditation, you preserve those and, have a longer lifespan. Okay, meditation and dedication, what we may call education. Surprisingly, after the program started, the teachers were quite surprised with the outcome as the students changed their perspectives towards violence, and they tend to be happier, and the number of fights that occurred within the school drastically decreased. Talking about meditation in the school system. I mentioned this also in the Minavata meeting. And I think I mentioned even to Sardeep, but trying to put meditation in Atva, because I know we need it.
Like that every period.
Probably so. Every period.
So these are your writings?
Yeah. Some of them I got from different sources. They worked harder, paid more attention, were easier to teach, and the number of fights fell dramatically. It provided a lot of stability to our school, helping staff and kids get through the stress that they have in their lives. Which I already know, our children got stresses like us.
I've read somewhere instead of detention, they would have the children meditate.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Prayer and meditation. I believe the concept of prayer and meditation to be an analogy of input and output of the self. Meaning prayer being a form of output or supplication, asking from us to the Creator to answer our prayers. Meditation, however, is being a form of input or being still, quiet, and present in order to receive the information or the answers to our prayers from the Creator. Our prayers are our problems that we have to deal with. Now that I've known, I've personally experienced in dealing with meditation. It doesn't happen, it might not happen necessarily while you're meditating, but when you start, because it's a practice, it's something you have to practice. It's something the brain has to start reconnecting and developing into. The brain has to learn it. But in that, even when I do it, I started seeing ideals to my predicament, or a brainstorm, or so to speak. I would get these light bulbs that I would never even dreamed of. And when you do that, because when you meditate, you're vibrating on a higher frequency, and the frequency, instead of the lower, those are a lot of your higher self. You're meeting your frequency of your higher self. So you turning your radio receiver to a higher one, and there's answers there that you never fathomed on this frequency down here.
It also keeps you healthy.
Yes. In conclusion, and in connection with the ascension realm, we must explore and research and study and discover new possibilities and tools for our ascension process and continue to higher heights. As Ben Ami HaMashiach always encouraged us to study and for our minds to roam the heavens and to achieve higher levels of consciousness. So don't hate, meditate.
would be a good substitute for smoking and drinking and all those types of things.
Hey, well, meditation is that's part of one of my mantras.
You know, I just to kind of dovetail on the fact that you really impressing the benefits of meditating, and we all know we need them. Someone the other day, Rofe, El Ron was talking about the time it takes for people, especially societies and even governments, to accept something, to accept the validity of something. He was talking about how the man who discovered that scurvy, that if he gave the limes and lemons and citrus fruits to the soldiers, the sailors, that they would not get scurvy, which was a vitamin C deficiency. He said vitamin C and citrus as a cure for scurvy did not really, it didn't come into effect until 300 years later. That's, just how long it took for them to, he said, because it was all about being scientifically proven. He couldn't at that time prove it scientifically, but we have to, they say, have to be of quick understanding.
I don't know how many of you all are familiar with, for those that it may be difficult to get into meditating, and not necessarily for those of us here, but sharing it with others. They have something called Vipassana meditation, and it's global. But I've participated twice here in Israel, and the first time I went, they were located in the Arava, and the second time I went was last year in June, and they're located, their new location is in the foothills of Tiberias, and it's beautiful. And it's a 10-day process the first time that you go. And you do not talk, you do not have a cell phone, you do not read any books, there is no outside, all you do is meditate from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. No, not 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And every day there's a guide there, an individual who helps to guide you through the process. You're listening to recorded messages throughout the process. There are periods where you're just meditating. There are periods where there's recorded instructional information, and then every evening at 7 or 8 p.m., they have a video presentation which describes and explains the whole concept of Vipassana meditation, because it's a particular style. You have to get beyond the religious aspect that's built into it.
Right.
But it's a great jump start for meditation, because after those 10 days, on the 9th day when you're finally able to talk to people again, it allows you such an opportunity to just go into self, And the first time you go, depending upon your age, usually younger people, you're in a dormitory type of room. So being in a room with 4 other people and trying to understand how we're going to clean this room, how we're going to do, and not to communicate, but it worked. Everybody just sort of did what had to be done. The meals are provided, vegetarian meals, and it's a beautiful experience. I would definitely recommend it for everyone to do it at least once or twice in their life.
They used it also in India, in the prison facility.
Yeah, that was the same people. They did it in a prison facility. They did it in the U.S. in a prison facility. And they did a study. They did a study on it. They took a group of prisoners and relocated them to a specific location, like they cleaned out a room and put all their mats in there, and that's where they stayed for the duration of that period of time. And I think I watched the video. I may have the video at home. I'll look and see if I have it on this CD, and I'll share it with you. But
Change their lives.
yeah, and they do it for children as well. Vipassana has so many times during the course of the year where they usually do it on a Shabbat, and they have children come up for an all-day experience. And they have fun and games and activities and meditation.
And it's free, right?
You pay what you can. It's a free will donation.
Yeah, free will donation.
And you don't pay it until the end. So if you don't have any money, you don't have any money. If you have 200 shekels, you have 200 shekels. What you pay goes forward to the next person. You're paying it forward. You're not paying for yourself. It's for the next person.
Very good.
Any other comments?
I wanted to ask Victoria about you said something about dedication and then you said education, so which one is it?
I meant it's the educational system. It's, meditation in connection with education, like in the schools. But, a lot, because I made this presentation also for the community, because we use the word also, dedication as
As opposed to education.
yeah, so I just decided, okay, let me put dedication in there.
Because the reason I asked was because the word dedication in the community was used as a tool to get you to have a self-program, to dedicate yourself to something outside of yourself and stay in alignment with that. And it's to me, it's harmful. And I think that, because, the thing about being in a group, we're not all alike. And we don't all have the same problems. And we're not all connected to the universe the same way. And we all have different purposes, and we all come together as a puzzle, and we have individual input in making the whole work. But once we give it all our individuality up and become just dedicated to what? Because when you tell somebody, are you dedicated? Then it's like, what do you mean by it? You have to explain to me dedicated to what? So it's a tricky word to me.
Yeah, something to consider.
I mean, you can use dedication in a lot of positive ways. I'm not saying that the word itself, I'm saying the way it was used here, it caused you to shut down your own self-input and just become a part of an instruction.
Can I ask you, do a particular breathing techniques when you do your meditation?
Breathing?
Mm-hmm.
I focus on long breaths, and I take it from here, not from here, but here, from the diaphragm. And my experience, in meditation, as I dealt with it more, my body does things involuntarily. So, my arms get to move, I might get to shaking, and I get to, I might even get out of holler, and there's a pulsating energy that's coming from here, especially when I exhale. It's like when I'm exhaling, I'm detoxing, really, which is really the best form of detox is breathing. And I had experience, I don't know if you know about Efrat. Efrat, she used to come and deal with the diaphragm. Some of the, she's from Jerusalem. And she used to use my room. But at one point I was there, and I was on the table, and she was dealing with my diaphragm. And I went into, it only happens when I go into the meditation room. And I got to shaking on the table. I was cool because when I first did it, it freaked me out. But I started to accept it and just let it go and see where it was taking me. And she saw it. And she's the type of healer, she can just tell you how you're breathing and see what's wrong with you. What's going on here? What's happening? So she said she saw it. She said, yeah, you were definitely expelling, stuff out of you. So that's what I know that's, that's why if I meditate, I don't like meditating around a lot of people because they might think I'm getting the Holy Ghost or the Exorcist or whatever. But I just let it go. I let it go, be by myself. Sometimes it'll have me holler. And, but it's like, it's a form of a detox that I'm feeling. And like I said in the meditation, it's like an input and output at the same time. I'm getting this information, but at the same time, I'm letting stuff out at the same time. And just to verify, it's been a season, because I used to do it every day, every single day, twice a day. Couldn't wait to get into it. It was like going to see a movie. And then when you close your eyes, you just get to seeing stuff. I started sliding back from it. You know, I was doing that, plus the grounding, plus the sun gazing. Plus I was doing my 2-week workout, twice a week workout. And I was like, wow, this is great. You know, I'll be looking at people, they be like, what's he on? What's he on? I'm on happiness. But I started slacking up. And for some reason, I couldn't, it was hard to get back into it. And when I started slacking up, my body it could tell the difference. It missed it. I started feeling like, no energy, didn't feel like doing nothing. Sick, stuff was going on, finances, it was just, and it made me know, okay, I'm clear. I'm clear. So I'm getting back into it now, but it was a season where I was letting days, sometimes weeks, I didn't do it. But I'm getting back into it and raising my vibration back. What do you think, Paul? I know you're curious.
Someone's on their way.
Oh, let me stop this camera. Is it still going?
It's still on.